So hello and welcome. Today we are going to uncover these some important aspects of pandas in our session 3. We have three files. We have other files that I have already loaded for it. Let's make them delete to explain you like what is happening here in brief. Because I don't want to make anyone confused. Even myself. Okay. You know basically how to do and load the files. Okay. Step 2. So in general, what step 2 contains? Yeah. So in step 2, using the info method, we need to calculate the data frame size in two ways, approximate and precise. We need to have the approximate size like this and precise like this. So what the thing is doing? This thing doing the approximate size of each and every columns and rows, the way they have used the memory, and on the basis of approximate size. Precise means it gives you the exact number of how the memory and columns are doing. We can see the output over here. Step 3. We need to calculate usage of each series in both approximate and precise. But this time we are not going to use some other variables like this true. So when we run that, we need have this kind of series over here. Step 4. Convert the content to category. We have .s type function, method, to convert the continents data type into categories one. As you can see over here. In step 5, in step 5, identify any other column that could be typecast or categorical and type. Explain why. So you need to understand why some other column that could be a typecast to the categorical type. So the columns that has the limited number of unique values like gender, product categories, or that can be category, they are typecast or category because to reduce memory, and the data is stored as integer codes, which are more efficient than storing strings. Step 6, we will reload the file and then define the content. So it is like the dummy variables. If I want to show to run the whole code, it is directly as not possible. But in short, what this code is doing, the code is like convert the, let's say, when you first run the code, when you first load the data, the way you have result, the result should be same, like it's when you have already loaded the data here and you run and you do that again, it's like overwriting, showing the duplicate values but in different ways. How? So it converts the continent column into dummy variables, and each unique variable in continent that becomes a new column, like continent underscore Asia, continent underscore Europe, and drop underscore first equal to that avoid the dummy variable trap by removing one redundant category. Redundant category means what? So the redundant category is when applying a one hot encoding like p vp dot get dummies variable method. Redundant category is an extra dummy variable that does not add a new information and that may be removed without losing the data meaning. And why does this thing happen? So each category in the categorical column gets its own binary and the removed column is called redundant category because the information is already contained in the remaining columns. That's why. We need to have another file test4. So in test4 we need to have like the main part of pandas, like we have now the real data visualize data processing, data extraction, because we have now pipeline, data pipeline and all the things. So we are going to use data train and test. For that we need to implement these things scikit-learn. So scikit-learn is a wide and open source library to use data pipeline and network data extraction to train and test the data in various ways. As you can see, we need to import this line scikit-learn.model.selection train test split. When we run that, and we need to convert train and test. For training means maths and physics and train, y train means result. So those are like dependent variables and this is no. Let me check once again. So what is maths and physics? It's still confusing for me, but not anymore. Let me see what I can do. X and Y. So the X that has training data for maths and physics. So this is the independent variables. Independent does what mean? Independence means it has their own values, own structure and own contents, and this is called target, which is dependent. So without this maths and physics, this thing is nothing. We need result basis on what? Basis on some, we need, if we have something like that. If we, how our result gonna test? How our result gonna make an impact? How they are checked like we have passed or not? Basis on our marks. If we don't have marks, then we don't have result. We won't have result at all. So this is called independent, this is called dependent. This is the main variables and this is called target variables. This is the feature, this is the target. Let me write here. To get you a better understand. Target. We will use the logistic regression. See again, for training and testing we have implement this. So for scikit, for that we need to import logistic regression. Let's run all these things. It model X and Y, it differentiate for the training and testing purposes. We have defined test and actual labels. For test, maths and physics. For actual test, Y actual result. Step 13. We have to test the data, like predict the data based on our X. So we what is happening here? Actual labels means the data before it trigger it gonna test, and predicts means the data it basically checking, like this is checking which student is pass and which student is failed. As you can see, maths and physics and result. So it is doing exactly the same thing, but in a different way. Step 15, we need to check the accuracy. So we import the matrix scikit-learn. We will use the decision tree classifier. This is one of the other method for data extraction, and we will compare the, like which one is very effective and efficient. As you can see, decision tree is more accurate because decision tree provides you like where the data comes from and how it gonna take and how it gonna make impact on our desired output. Because what does it mean by tree? Tree means everything is connected to with each other. So so everyone knows like what they are coming from. They are know the basic, they are know the roots, they are know the where they are base coming from. They are, in short, they know where the data comes from and their authenticity and everything. This is pickle. So pickle. So why we need pickle over here? So pickle is what? Pickle is like training. Pickle is like a training machine, training a machine learning model. And instead of retrieving every time, we can save then train the model and reload when it needed. So pickle is like an efficient way. We don't need to train and test the data by reloading again and again. When we train the data, we need to save it, and whenever we need again, we can do it again without like reloading the data again. So it like save the time. And we can reload and use the model without training. It is used in deployment, and it is easy to send a model to others without sending the data sets. We will convert now in this next step the time to a date and time. It is like giving the some specific kind of uh, style to date and time. See, date and time, it's a method to give a specific kind of date and time to actual and current time. As you can see, hour, minute and second, but we have only hours and minutes, not the second. But as you can see, we get second here, and we will extract hours and year from time. See here, it's like there are like basic methods. Timestamp. Some countries and every country has their own different timestamp. In Canada, we have year, month, and time. As you can see, year, month, and time. Year, month, and date. Again, as we discussed these things in our last video, use matplotlib for plot, and you have good to go. You can have all the things. When you change from histogram to here, it will give the histograms. Let's see. Let I say why. Ah. See, identifying the duplicate rows to keeping the only first occurrence. First occurrence means only the, it will only have it has each and everything precisely like showing the output. So step 1 and step 2 basically it's having the same thing but in a different manner. So step what is doing, so the step 21 is doing like check the duplicate rows based on maths and physics. It keeps the first like duplicate occurrence except the first one and then print the only duplicate rows including the first one. But what it happens in a second, it marks all duplicates removing and even in the first occurrence, and this is useful for duplicate data points, not just for later ones. Step 23 showing the maximum and then doing the unlimited and then reset. It's a confusing, it's a very confusing when it's come to like showing. When you read the instruction you won't understand anything, but when you go in a depth you will understand more. Even I was not able to understand it right now, but somehow I managed to remember all those things. So this code is used to control how many rows are displayed when they're printing a pandas like a data frame. So the set option is allows all printing to rows without truncation. And step 2 is doing to this prevents terminal to printing too many rows. So like why we need to see our all rows without without like overwhelming the data, overwhelming the output. It helps in data analysis like cleaning and all the stuffs. It is showing the like maximum values to 500 and it changes to like reset one like by default. Step 25 it changing like float float format and then reset. So the reset things I have noticed, this is the very, you can do anything whatever you want with your code, but if you want it to make it better, you don't want any trouble, you can direct simply change those things to reset. So not says VP here. Create a random data frame, red, blue and green. So what this code is doing, so this code is like create a small random data set for testing when it's come to working with pandas. And this is the very good thing, it does not let user allow, it does not want from user to enter data, it just take the like nearby data, the data that which is surrounding by, and make a complete database like this. But still there is a question, why we need this thing. So let's check here, it says random data frame. So we need to import the numpy for numeric operations again, and this converts the numpy array into panda data frame. And why we need that, so the code like we are having here, it generates the random data frame using the numpy for why first, this is for like the code generates this 3 by 4 matrix, allowing us to stimulate the real world data when actual data is unavailable or too complex. So why we are using this? Because this is helpful in testing and exploring algorithms without needing the real data. As I already mentioned in my short way, like if this thing has like nearby data, it won't take from that data. It just take this some idea from that data and generate these things on its own to don't like change or making trouble with the original data and for training and testing purpose. Steps 27. Random data frame change to float. So we need to give this data type this data frame to data type float. If I say integer, it's changed to integer. But why? But as we mentioned, we have been told that to maintain as float. So this is showing like which is the largest number. So random df dot max is checking the maximum values in each rows. Again, id max. id max means what? Which one has the highest value in the whole data set? So that's how we have worked with the pandas. I know I have been doing very few mistakes, but still I am learning. But if you think then this video will help you at even if 1%, then that will very appreciate for me, because I am still learning these things. Even if I went blank throughout the videos, it doesn't mean that I does know anything. I know something. I'm trying to first explain it to myself and then to you. So thanks for cooperation.